Welcome to the Riot Podcast for Wednesday, August 30th. We've got a great show on the way for you. We'll start it off with a little offer for you, Isaiah. You'd like to take a flight without kids, wouldn't you?
I don't usually fly with them, considering I don't have any.
No,
but
I mean like child-free. You'd like to get as far away from kids on a plane as you could.
Yes.
How much would you pay for that? For that privilege?
To guarantee there's no kids on the plane?
No kids anywhere near you.
So,
The kids are quarantined.
Oh, they're like in a closet or something?
Yeah.
I'd pay an extra $15.
That's it? 15?
That's all. Actually, you know what? I'd pay an extra $5. Not even
Not
15.
much. The kids don't bother you that much, huh?
I don't usually have an issue with them on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a big enough deal. But maybe if they were on the plane and they were next to me and they were being annoying, I might be more likely to dish it out on the plane.
Yeah, that's right.
I might upgrade. I would upgrade maybe on the plane.
That's right. They just have that on the menu, the menu with the drinks and the snacks and whatever. And you could also upgrade if you have an annoying child sitting next to you.
Move Bobby.
Yeah. I have here a Turkish airline that I believe is maybe the first ever do this. It's called Corendon Airlines. They are going to start offering on some of their flights the option to upgrade your seat, to upgrade your ticket beforehand, so you could be in a section where no one under 16 is allowed. And that would cost you what amounts to $49 to do that.
$49?
$49 to be in the 16 and up
so
section.
Way too much. Way too much.
That's a lot. Kids aren't that annoying.
And like the likelihood that you're going to be next to one.
Yeah.
That's a total risk. You might have been clear. I'm risking it every time.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to take the gamble to win, to keep my $49. And by the way, if you wanted the no kids zone and you want extra leg room, then it's a $109.
No, it's not actually.
So it's more.
Wow.
What would you pay more for, to have no kids in your section, to have leg room? Yeah, and they're charging, I guess, the same pretty much.
Just about.
Both. Yeah, equal. But leg room is much more valuable, wouldn't it be?
Way more valuable than no kids.
Or to have, what about this? Could I pay to have a seat next to me that's just empty? So I don't have to have a like somebody sit next to me if I'm flying alone. Or if I'm in like an odd number group, then I'll just take an empty spot rather than a child or an adult.
Maybe for me, how much would a seat cost for me to sit next to the prettiest girl on the plane? I'll pay extra for that. 3 hours of having to have a conversation with me? $20.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know. I think what do they do if not enough people are willing to pay? Do they then start just bumping people up to the no kids zone that don't have kids with them?
I don't know.
Because they got to fill the spots, right?
Or maybe there just is no kids. There is like no kids zone. Yeah.
But then what if there's one person that did pay for the no kids zone?
Then you just put them in a spot in the plane where they're not near the kids.
Well,
it doesn't say on it like this aisle, kid free.
Yeah. You know what I can also picture though? I can picture somebody saying they see this and they're like, why do I have to pay extra when I want to fly with no kids? What about the people with kids? Maybe they should have to pay extra. Can you imagine that? Somebody getting upset
if you had to pay
that.
Extra to bring your kid on?
The person that's not satisfied just with being able to pay extra to have a no kids zone, but they want the people with kids to have to pay extra.
They are paying extra. They're paying for their kid's seat.
Yeah, that's right.
They're already paying extra.
Unless the kid can sit on their lap. Yeah.
How does that work on a plane?
What do you mean?
Do people like actually fly with their kid on their lap? I've never even really looked. Whenever there's a baby crying,
I mean, it has to be like a baby, right?
Well, yeah. Whenever a baby's crying, I just don't even look in their direction.
I don't think there's a lot of 8-year-olds flying on people's laps. I think the airline would probably put a stop to that because they want to make money off of it.
True.
Yeah.
I think once you're...
They'd be like, you have to at least buy a lap ticket.
I feel like it's once you're over the age of 2, maybe.
Yeah.
You got to have your own seat. That sounds about right?
Sounds about right. After that point, you probably don't need to be sitting on someone's lap, right?
Probably not.
You're able to fend for yourself.
I have no idea what a 3-year-old looks like, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even know if they can walk. All right, well, it is an option for this very specific airline, these very specific flights. You'd now be able to go ahead and pay for a child-free zone if that's what you so want, if you hate kids that much. Good podcast today. Enjoy it, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah, you ever heard of a dawn date?
I have heard of a dawn date.
Oh, you have?
Very familiar.
Familiar with the dawn date. You ever been on a dawn date?
I've never went on a date with any dawns.
Oh, that's not what
I don't feel like there's as many dawns as there used to be.
it used to. That name has fallen out of fashion. But a dawn date is actually a date where you have the date near the crack of dawn.
I don't like dates like that.
Well,
It sounds a little early to me.
it does sound early, but that's us saying that, and we're up at this time. But it's something that I'm seeing a lot of proponents here for. Lifehacker seems to have gathered several, and I love that they just started off with this quote. With a dawn date, you're not being put out of your normal schedule.
That is out of my normal schedule.
Yeah, I feel like getting up at the crack of dawn. For you and I, that's actually not.
But on a Saturday, it is.
It is. And for any other day of the week, for any other person, there's nothing that could put you out of your normal schedule more than waking up hours earlier than you planned.
And the girl has to get ready.
Yeah, what is she? Jesus,
What time is she waking up? Yeah.
It also says you can connect with someone when you're less burned out, but also tired. So,
And your face is all puffy in the morning,
I know,
too.
yeah.
Like, you never look your most attractive in the first thing in the morning. Everybody's eyes are kind of like crusted over and like barely open.
Yeah, you're never sure if you have a booger still stuck in there.
Yeah, exactly. And your breath smells bad no matter what. First thing in the morning, your breath just smells bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but they also say you can have a clear time frame around the date. This is Amanda Bradford, CEO and founder of the dating app The League. She says,
Never heard of it.
I've always been a big believer in having a clear end time for first dates. And so I'm a big fan of dawn dating because it creates a natural end time. You've got to get on with your day at some point, so that's a good out for the date. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have an out for a first date, but also I feel like it's a really good thing to have an open end to a first date, because then if you guys are really vibing, you can just keep on talking all night long.
You can just talk all day.
Yeah, that's
all
right.
Night.
Yeah.
The dawn date gives you so much time.
Yeah. Cancel my plans.
Yes.
I've had a really good dawn
You can go
day.
from 6 a.m. to midnight the whole day with them.
So let's get to, now that we know what a dawn date is, let's see what some of the dawn dating suggestions would be. 1, this is easy, meet for coffee.
Little bland for me, but yeah.
Yeah, and you can also do that any time of day. 2, this is a tough one. Watch the sunrise.
There's no way you're getting up that early. Like, that just seems like too much for a
That
first
means
date.
you're driving together, like driving to meet up at, what time? I know in the wintertime, then you're going to be freezing. The wintertime, it rises later, but.
Like 5:45?
Is when you're meeting?
I'm thinking, look right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty early right now, and I don't know.
Okay, how about this? Early morning workout class.
That sounds like a struggle.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's
wild.
hard enough to do on your own. Forget about with somebody else. How about you? This might be for you. Early morning tea time. Go
That's
golfing.
the best one yet.
Yeah, that's an
I'm
idea.
for that.
And there's actually a reason why you would want to go early. for
Yeah,
that.
exactly. A little cooler.
This is real casual. Walk the dog.
Walking the
Walk your
dog.
dogs together. That could be cute. Maybe not necessarily a first date, but maybe. Hit the farmer's market
That sounds like a fun one.
for a dawn date.
Don't hate that idea.
Yeah, you could find some apple butter or something like that together. It'd be fun. You don't have to do this at dawn. You could go for breakfast.
I like breakfast.
In fact, any place that's open for breakfast at dawn, probably not a place you want to go on a date, I would say. I don't know if Waffle House would be that romantic. And finally, commute together.
What?
Yeah, you carpool, or maybe you ride the metro if you're in a city that's got a train.
Commute to work together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a
Meet up.
wild date. Well, good morning.
Yeah.
And then at the end of your date, we'll have fun at work. What are you riding the subway together? I don't get it.
That only feels like it works if you live in New York City or DC, pretty much.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah, if I had to ask you one wedding tradition to leave behind, What do you think it would be? And we're talking like the ceremony and the reception.
It's a good question. One of the things I've never liked at weddings is when they like do the toss. Like whoever catches this is gonna get married next.
Uh-huh.
I always think that's real silly because nobody really wants it. So that would be probably
goofy.
what I would take away. Or just a long ceremony in general.
Yeah.
I'm against that as
I've
well.
been fortunate. Some of the weddings that I've been to more recently, they really strip it down there to like less than like 20, 30 minutes, which I feel like maybe down to 15. I think that, that's not what everybody's excited about. It's not the vows and whatever. It's the reception afterwards. Well, I'll tell you, I have a poll here of 2,000 adults that have either gotten married or are in a relationship, so they're considering possibly getting married. And the top thing they want to leave behind, the top wedding tradition, is having the same old music when you walk down the aisle.
They want some new music, huh?
They don't want the old traditional wedding march. And can I tell you that, you know what? Actually, I don't remember what they played when the bride walked down the aisle. But at my brother's recent wedding a year ago, they played the Jurassic Park theme music when everybody else was walking up. That's what they went with. So they were ahead of this.
I'm trying to even remember what that sounds like.
I can't recite it to you, but there was murmurs and it was like, is this Jurassic Park? Because it's not the most recognizable thing, especially if you haven't heard it in a while.
Did it sound good?
I mean, it's like a classical score, so
got it.
It's good music. It's just it was a head scratcher for people.
Did it fit the vibe?
I think it fit the vibe.
Okay.
So that's the top thing that people want to leave behind, though, is the traditional wedding music. Next, coming in with 29% people saying in relationships saying they want to leave the traditional dress code behind.
So that means like they don't want to wear a dress and a suit?
I guess so. Not a tux necessarily.
They want to wear some jeans.
I mean, that is where you can run up the price pretty quickly.
That's not what the place you run up the price of the wedding.
It's one of the places.
I mean, I guess it's one of the places that you could, but that feels
you don't want to cheap out on a wedding dress.
That feels like the most viable place to run it up. It's your outfit. People run it up on flowers. Like, if you're gonna run it up on anything, at least let it be the clothes you're wearing.
I mean, it can get expensive, but I think that's still an appropriate place for it to get expensive because that's what people remember.
True.
They're going to think back like, oh, they look good in the dress. If you don't look good in the dress, then that's not going to be as fond of memory, but they're not going to remember the flower arrangement.
No.
So, another one is people want to choose an unconventional theme.
Why are people trying to make weddings such a weird thing now? I don't understand.
Because it's for Instagram.
I know, but like at the same time, everybody who's going to your wedding doesn't want to do your weird theme. Like they don't even want to go in the first place. They don't want to go, and then you're gonna make them dress in some weird way with some weird theme.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Why can't it just be a normal wedding? It makes it so much easier. Everybody knows what to do. If I'm going to a normal wedding, I know I can just wear whatever suit I have and not have to dress up in some weird thing.
I think it isn't the worst to have some just classic tradition at a wedding, just because then, like for pictures, I think it looks better to have just traditional wedding. Like, you're wearing traditional wedding attire. Everybody knows they see that picture. Oh, that's the day they got married. It's not like, oh, that's the day that they were wearing like superhero outfits for some reason.
For whatever reason, it was themed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and nobody who came knew what to wear. They all were supposed to wear green.
I do kind of want to go to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle wedding.
That makes one person in here that wants to do that.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
The city is a strong word. The town of Columbia Falls in Maine, the small town, population 465 people, they've got a debate on their hands. A debate of whether to build a flagpole taller than the Empire State Building or not.
Seems like an interesting debate for a small town.
Yeah, they're trying to decide. This is a proposal that was actually brought to the town in March by the Worcester family, it looks like, Morrill Worcester.
It looks like it says Worcester.
I never know how to pronounce it. Worcester, Mass is what I always think of. Okay, so they're a wreath-making company. They have a wreath-making company. They actually are behind, I don't know if you've ever heard Wreaths Across America, where they put wreaths on like veterans' graves. So actually a very respectful thing to do, I think. But this family, this wreath-making company, has proposed a skyscraper-style flagpole. It would tower 1,461 feet straight up and would feature a United States flag the size of a football field.
That's a big flag.
That's a big flag. But not only that, it would also include an observation deck, of course, so you could go up there to the very top of the flagpole, an observation deck, and it would also have an auditorium, a living history museum, and a monument on site as well. So they want to do all of this. That's quite a big undertaking for a town of 465 people, which is why since March, there's been debate because they just don't have, this is not something that would normally come up in a small town like this. They don't have rules, regulations, zoning, all this stuff.
Funds.
Yeah, well, it sounds, I think the Wreaths Across America people are going to fund this thing. They're ready to pay for it, and they wanted to do it in their, I guess, tiny hometown of Columbia Falls, Maine. In Columbia Falls, Maine, the citizens there just can't seem to make up their mind of whether they think this is a good idea for their area or not, because obviously it'd be a pretty big tourist attraction, wouldn't you say?
No.
You don't think so?
Not even, I mean, where are they? They're in Maine.
Yeah.
Who's being like,
people far and wide.
You know what? Let's go ahead and take our vacation to Columbia Falls, Maine. I gotta see that flagpole.
Oh, come on. I think you're underestimating the patriotism of the American
see
public.
That flag. We're not going to Miami. We're not going to Florida. We're going to Columbia Falls, Maine.
I mean, come on. It's a flag the size of a football field. Can't you imagine some dads in rural New England packing their families, come on, kids, we're going to see the biggest American flag in the world.
Not a shot.
I think, well.
And also, when you look at where this actually is, it's like very, very north Maine.
Right
so
near the Canadian border. So what, are they making the flag so big that you can see it across Canada?
Probably.
Or something?
I mean, it's pretty close to the border. It's close to the water. This is far away from anywhere that you would want to go.
Imagine trying to get a flight to get you to Columbia Falls, Maine. That would not be easy.
No.
But so what do you think? Should they do it or not? I mean, if the company's paying for it, it's not the town. Those 465 residents, their tax dollars aren't going towards this, right?
I think that it doesn't seem like there's any drawbacks to it, unless they just don't want the flagpole.
Yeah,
maybe it throws off the look of the town.
It could.
Maybe Main Street's always the same way, and they don't want this fancy flagpole ruining it.
I don't know. I think I just don't know if they're prepared for the influx of tourism.
That is not what it is.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to have a tough time keeping up. They don't have enough hotels. It's going to change the whole landscape if they build this thing. So I don't know. But I mean, if it was in your town, wouldn't you go see it though?
I mean, you can see it from anywhere.
I guess so.
If it was in my town, I'd be able to see it.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Would you rather have a bunch of friends that just complained all the time or a bunch of friends that were always bragging? Let us know your thoughts at 8772-RADIO-U. I'll let you know what people are saying here. The first one to come in was Jeff, who says he prefers bragging. He couldn't handle all the negativity of the complainers.
Understandable.
Yep, good answer. Good answer. Michaela also on the bragging side. She says if they also brag about others and use it as a way to lift people up,
But that's positive, Michaela.
That is a nice way to look at it, but somehow that's not what I had in mind. I was thinking of this Would You Rather Wednesday question.
You should start bragging about me, man.
Yeah. I do. I'm always building you up to others. Regina says, hate either option, but I'll take bragging because at least they wouldn't be Debbie Downers all the time. Isaiah, what's your thoughts?
I also am going with braggers. I have to agree with the people. I would rather be around a bunch of braggers because I can handle the braggers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. Like, I'm cool with you hyping yourself up.
Yeah.
Like, if you think you're really awesome, I think that's awesome for you. Is it annoying? It is annoying.
Yeah.
But complainers are just hard. 'Cause I'm a very happy person.
Uh-huh.
I go with the flow. I'm always having a good time. And so when people are complaining and being like a Debbie Downer, I just cannot handle that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the devil's advocate, the opposing view of what would convince you to pick complainers instead. Is that I think the bragging would get very tiring.
Yeah.
And I think
Never ending.
And here's the other thing. I think being negative or complainers, I think that's much more common. I mean, there's a few people out there that you probably think of that might be your friends that brag a little bit. That's maybe one of their personality traits. But there's probably more of your friends you can think of that like, wow, they're really kind of negative a lot. But so I guess that's the thing. It's just you're more used to it. But at the same time, I'm with you and with everybody else. It's just all that, if you're just thinking constant negativity, constant complaining, especially if like, think about if your friends, like if they don't actually have anything to complain about. And then they're, I can't believe I got a raise or something stupid, like, which is also a bragging and complaining at the same time. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't bring myself to pick the opposite side. I'm going with bragging as well.
Yeah, like when I think of some of my friends who complain a lot, it's always like when we're doing something fun,
Mm-hmm.
that's when like if you have something to complain about, I can deal with you complaining. Like if a situation really stinks,
Yeah, of
then I
course.
get it. But if we're somewhere that's supposed to be fun and you're complaining,
Yeah.
that is the most annoying thing for me of all time.
The worst.
That's the worst.
The worst is going out to a restaurant somewhere and like you haven't even gotten the food yet and the person's complaining like, oh, I can't believe they're taking so long. It's been like 5 minutes. Like that kind of,
Yeah.
It just puts a whole damper on the
Or
whole
like
outing.
If you've been like, if you go somewhere like a concert or something or a
Yeah.
festival and you get halfway through the day and someone's like, oh my gosh, my legs are killing me. When are we going to leave? Like, and it's supposed to be a fun day. I'm like,
Yeah.
I bring you to fun things. And this is how you act. This is what you do. Go home.
You have to appreciate the irony of us now, everyone complaining about complainers. But yeah, they're way worse than braggers. At least braggers, you can celebrate each other's wins. If you have a good attitude about it, you just hear somebody bragging and be like, yeah, good for you.
It's way easier to make fun of braggers still.
That's right. It's Would You Rather Wednesday.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
This is interesting. I like this. ESPN has struck a deal. They're going to start airing ACC regular season games this football season, as well as some college football playoff games in theaters across the country.
It's an interesting place for a sports event.
It could be fun though, right? Sometimes they do. I know for a while it's pretty commonplace to have like fights. Sometimes they even do. I've seen theaters maybe just near us, but they'll stream soccer games like the Premier League or whatever in the theater, actually in the theater.
And you don't have to be quiet, I assume. You're supposed to be cheering.
I think, yeah, that probably makes more sense.
Is it pitch black darkness in there? That's my next question. Can't be, right? Or
I
does
mean,
it have to be?
It would be harder to see the screen the way that's set up, wouldn't it?
So it's pitch black in there.
So it's like the scene, the setting of if you're going to a movie, but then
I don't think I'd like that.
I don't think people get upset you had your phone on though, right? Right?
I mean, if it's pitch black in there, they will be, right?
I don't know. What is the theater etiquette for when you're not actually watching a movie?
If you're watching a game, it's got to be the same, right? But also, if people are talking,
Yeah. People don't want you on your phone because it distracts. They might miss something or whatever. I think in a game, people expect you to have your phone out.
but think about this at the same time. If they're opening up these theaters, there's going to be a bunch of people there you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
There's going to be fans of both teams there.
That could be possible. Yeah, that's definitely.
And imagine how upset you'd be if the fan from the other teams are being too loud. You're trying to watch the game. It's pitch dark blackness in there. And they've got their phone on. You can't really see the screen. You're distracted. I can already see this making me mad.
Well, to clarify here, although the college football playoff games at the end of the year, I believe, and then the ACC Conference Championship game, it looks like as well, although I think those will be available more widely, it looks like, if I'm understanding this right, if your team is playing an away game, you have an ACC team you're a fan of, and they're playing an away game, that's when it would be in the theaters near you.
Got it.
Like week 1 here, Virginia playing Tennessee. It's in Tennessee, in Knoxville. So then if you're near Charlottesville, I think you'd be able to watch it. But like if this were to go nationwide, like would you watch Buckeye games in the theater if they were the away team?
I can see a draw for somebody maybe for this, but I don't think this is the place that I would like to watch the game.
Why is that?
Because usually for Ohio State games, how it works is the first half I'm dialed in, right?
Yeah.
And then by the second half, when we're up like 60-3, I don't want to be forced to be sitting in the movie theater the whole time as the Buckeyes are just kicking butt with the third strings. I like to be able to bounce around it. I don't have to pay attention to the game as much. And so for me, then it becomes a more social event by the second half.
Yeah.
I bet if you're a fan of like Indiana or something, you're watching the whole game.
Yeah.
For me, I only have to watch about a quarter and a half usually.
Well, and then it also feels like, I mean, you got to get tickets for this, and it feels like you might be getting ripped off if you wouldn't leave partway through a movie.
Exactly. You would never leave.
Yeah.
And so for me, if it's like a big game, I could be good.
Yeah.
But for me, actually, for Ohio State games, usually the first half, yet again, I'm watching really like intensely. And then the second half, usually we're up by a lot in the regular season games. And so it is like a time for me to just like talk to my friends and hang out.
I think it could be, for certain scenarios, it could be a real cool venue to actually see, to actually go see a game. Not every time, but I like that they're doing it. I'd like to see more of it.
And it gives movie theaters a way to make some money.
That's right. And
so, I'm for that.
If you are a fan of an ACC team, you might have the chance this year to go see one of their games in theaters.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Now, this was it was some sad news. Evidently, a little over a day ago, they came across. Isaiah, you're a fan of The Bachelorette, right? Do you recall a contestant named Josh Cedar?
This guy.
Does he look familiar?
Yep.
Apparently, on his Instagram a day ago, it was reported that on his very own Instagram that he was dead. But it turns out now we've got the good news. Josh has reared his head to say, "Hey, I'm not dead. I'm still alive." His account got hacked, according to him. His account got hacked, and his quote is, "Somebody was playing a cruel joke and mocking my mental illness and the struggles I've gone through with depression and suicide attempts." Pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But it's good news that he's still alive. But I want to know, this isn't the first time this has recently happened. I don't mean that like this is the first time it's happened to him, but there's been a few incidents across social media as of late where people will hack into accounts and say the person, the owner, the celebrity that's behind the account is dead. And I want to understand why. Why would anybody do that?
Because it's only going to be like within 24 hours where that's going to be figured out.
The mystery's going to be solved. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do you get out of that?
If you're the hacker? Know.
It can't be, I know some, security experts would be like, you do make it too easy. You never change your passwords and you just put 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Some people say it's easy to hack an account. It's not. You got to go through a lot of trouble to get into an account. Trust me, I've tried. Why would you go through all that trouble and then say this person is dead when it's not true? It's mean and stupid, and it's just going to be debunked in a short matter of time because, hello, the person's not dead.
Yeah, I would say it's just a silly way to do it. There's nothing you get out of it. Like, there's literally no positives to it. I guess the person who hacked into it feels like they got to stir up some drama. Some people live for the drama.
Yeah.
I think we kind of underestimate how much people love drama.
They just like to stir the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people
So
are more...
24 hours of craziness for them maybe is a lot.
Yeah, maybe that's worth more than money. Because this is not the top. And it's also, is it a crime to do this? Maybe that's another part of it. It's a crime?
It's impersonation.
Is it a crime to hack into somebody's account?
Sounds like it's stealing identity.
I don't
Has
know.
to be,
I don't know if our laws have kept up with that, you know?
If you break into my Instagram and post a picture of me and announce that I'm dead, that has to be against the law.
It seems like it should be, but I don't know if it is.
It's got to be like impersonation, right? There's got to be a law against that.
I don't know.
Like, what if I came on the radio today, did your voice, and made a bunch of statements?
You could never do my voice.
I couldn't.
Give it a try.
With your voice, I can't.
Do an impression.
It's a little bit too raspy.
And besides,
for me.
how would you impersonate me being dead?
On the air?
On the air.
I would just say a bunch of embarrassing things. I think that's way funnier. I wouldn't go the death route.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That saying somebody's dead, then what's the fun in that?
The best way to do it would be to go on into their DMs.
Yeah.
DM a bunch of people.
There you go.
Because then they can never prove that was fake. Obviously, they're going to say, I was hacked.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Share screenshots of the stupid messages you made? That's
a way better way to go.
Yeah. If you really want to.
The death routes, obviously, you can prove that. You can't prove DMs are fake.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm glad he's not actually dead because although I'm not familiar with him, that would have been real sad. So fortunately, some good news there.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Zay and I were just talking. A great question. We've all been there where it's late at night. You just need one last thing before you go to bed and you're raiding the fridge. And Isaiah, you're asking, when you raid the fridge late at night, what are you reaching for?
Like, what's that, like, middle of the... Even, like, right before bed? Or, like, middle of the night? Because it happens to me a lot.
Oh, you wake up?
Where my dog, Jim, will have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Because he's a grown child. And I'll have to go... and when I let him outside, then I won't lay back down in bed... Because there's been too many times where I've let him out and then I've fallen asleep while he's been outside. So I have to go and keep myself busy.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the fridge and I'll just see what I can find. And what do I usually end up with? Either like a glass of milk.
Yeah, milk was always a go-to for me.
One late at night snack that I really like, peanut butter. And I'll just do a spoonful of it.
You just stole... I was going to say, does it have to be the fridge? Because I was definitely going to say peanut butter.
Yeah, I last night before I went to bed.
Yeah.
I just did a spoonful straight to the dome. So good.
So
with a little bit of milk. You follow it with a little bit of milk.
Oh, to wash it down, yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Do you have, because I was thinking of this way different, where I was thinking of what I want when it's late at night. You know, like you've had a long night, you stayed up late watching a movie, watching a game or something, or just had a night out. And you get back home, and what are you reaching for at that time? And I always think I'm reaching in the freezer then.
What are you reaching for?
Like pizza rolls.
Oh, okay. So you're doing like a meal.
I don't know about a meal, but just, a microwave, something I can microwave.
Got it.
But also peanut butter's good, especially if you wake up in the middle of the night and you need a snack.
Something, because in the middle of the night, you want something quick.
Yeah, I'm not microwaving.
You want something to just toss in your mouth. Lay back down.
Yeah.
Mine sometimes is Oreos too. I'll do Oreos and milk like 1:30 a.m.
That's one way to go. That'll put you right back to sleep. Rock you like a baby. If you've got a good one, 8772 Radio U. Text us and let us know something you're reaching for in the middle of the night from the fridge or elsewhere.
That's enough of that. For more Riot content, head to riot.radiou.com.